Bronol versus Football Eddie. Bronol running pretty much tempo order. We can just go ahead and call it tempo order. Let's check it out. Grounds of the Fallen. You don't see this in every deck. Definitely good versus mass removal like Football Eddie may be running. He's growth decay, so we could see some frost scales or things like that. Wing Soldier in the direct middle. I see Brain Lices, Quakes, Erodes, Kinfolk Veterans. Is this Samada Control? This might be what's referred to as Samada Control, which is the Growth Decay deck, with the only two units being Kinfolk Veteran and Oblivion Seeker, which are summoned through using the spell called Samada Shift, while ramping up and clearing the board with mass removal spells like Frost Scale and Quake. Sad to see Bronol got rid of the Grounds of the Fallen there, because Grounds of the Fallen is actually pretty significant in this matchup. Football Eddie will erode his own Nog Nest twice. You just saw that. You just saw Football Eddie play a Nog Nest, then erode it twice, destroying it and gaining 2 decay, then sacking for wild. On round 3, Football Eddie is already at 2 decay, 2 growth, 1 wild. Bronol needs to win this extremely quickly. There's a Quake in hand for Football Eddie. He's a couple turns away from playing it, but I'm sure he's not going to sacrifice it. In fact, I might see a Brain Lice come out this turn, and there it is on to Old Relorus. Aging Knight here is you don't want to play it, gets rid of it wisely. Infantrymen are more acceptable to play, just because they survive Quakes. As it stands, Relorus, oh man, he really wants that Grounds of the Fallen. He wants it so bad. I don't think he knew exactly what he was playing before he sacrificed it. Also, I don't know if he got rid of it in the mulligan or if he sacrificed it, but I think had he known, he would have kept that Grounds of the Fallen. It would have been so valuable. So valuable. So Quake can be played this turn. There it is. Boom boom. Relorus is destroyed. And at this point, it may be too late for Grounds of the Fallen. Aging Knight in hand could be played. There's a couple turns from a Quake. It'll be a 7-coster. Wings Captain's a much safer play right now. And he's got to keep in mind, Kinfolk Veterans are a real possibility here. But he's allowing his 1 health creatures to be destroyed, rather than the Wings Captain taken to 1, which would then be a Frost Scale away from being destroyed. Here's another Quake. It's a 7-cost, though. It can't be played. Samada Shift, the first one of the game, comes out, and he gets a Kinfolk Veteran, followed by a Brain Lice, destroys both 1 health units. Wah, wah, wah. Aging Knight, Royal Skirmisher, the 2 units in hand for Bronol. Goes for those 2 units indeed, instead of the Relorus. Having a Relentless on the field is certainly very valuable. Quake right now cannot be played. It is a 7-cost, regardless of what Spectate says. Frost Scale, not going to do it. Soul Steal, however, is a good play. This is what I want to see in this match. I don't care who wins or loses. I want to see Grounds of the Fallen be played and make a difference. It really could have already done that. Had it been played earlier in this game. It may be too late for it now. But I'd love to see that happen. Spearman can come out here to protect against a surprise veteran. Still at 5 is Football Eddie. That means a Quake will not be played. Fertile Soil onto the Shambler. I'm sure he'll be sacrificing for... Ooh. Okay, so... he's lining up for something very bad here. Very bad for Bronol. Quake Return to Nature is what? 7 growth, 3 decay? He's a few turns away from that. So it's more likely going to be Frost Scale Return to Nature, but these units have 3 health, so this one will go down further, but it'll have to be the Quake Return to Nature, though, so that's a few turns away. damaging that center idol. Okay. Halls of Omlasa could come out this turn. There's a Frost Gale, and he's just setting up for the follow-up Quake next turn. Nothing special about it. Can play Halls of Omlasa here. Nope. Soul Steal, he says, preventing more idle damage. This Frost Gale he won't need. Still hasn't sacrificed for resources. What is he going to choose is the question, because now Frost Gale Return to Nature does the same thing a Quake does for less cost, and you get a return from it. So I wonder if you get rid of the Quake here. Okay, Halls of Omlasa, saving the removal over the ramp. Center Idol will fall here, most likely, I'm sure. And at 5 resources, no, he's probably because of decimations. He doesn't need to destroy the Center Idol, and he probably doesn't have any Dominion effects. Is that true? I'm trying to think. I guess he doesn't run Wings Cleavers then. If he's not taking Dominion, he must not run Wings Cleavers. Goes for the 3-cost Spearman over the 4-cost Relorus. Fortal Soil comes out on the Shambler. Football Eddy continues to ramp up. Can get rid of... Nope, here comes the Frostgale Return to Nature combo. That'll buff up his growth to 4. Hangs on to the Quake, which is now playable at any point. He has 7 growth. It's not playable now, but the following turns. Still hasn't sacrificed, debating on what he wants to do. Rat King would be strong against Tempo Order. Gets rid of the Nog Nest, and draws a God Hand Samada Shift. Bronol. 5 resources. I can just drop a Vanguard here, or go for, I guess, Skirmisher Crossbowman. I'm gonna go for the Vanguard, putting the Spearman in front, protecting against any sort of Kinfolk Veteran shenanigans. Samada Shift, speaking of Kinfolk Veteran shenanigans, will destroy the 2 health Spearman at the cost of its own life. But Bronol is not looking for board control here. Bronol is looking for idle damage. So he's sad to see that Spearman go. This turn he can drop 6 mana worth of creatures, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. Skirmisher with a Wing Shield, or a Spearman. I wonder what you choose here. I mean, Wing Shield should only take 1 damage from a veteran, but Spearman will destroy the veteran. They both have the same attack. Football Eddy, playing his Rat King. He still has... Oh, is he going to Necro get in here? No, he's just going to Languid. I don't think you Necro at all, do you? I could be wrong. He Necros. Alright. He destroys the Spearman. Does 3 damage to the Vanguard. Oh no, he destroys the Vanguard, okay. And just leaves the Skirmisher up. I mean, I suppose with your Oblivion Seeker out, I guess that makes more sense then. Because you draw the 2 scrolls from it. Kill 2 scrolls. Your units aren't that valuable. Okay, yeah, I guess you do Necro get in there. Over his other play, which was... I can't remember at this point. What would have been... Oh, Languiding his units. Languiding the Skirmisher, probably. Samada Shift comes out. And he gets an Oblivion Seeker for his troubles. Languid down onto the Skirmisher. Languid number 2 onto Relorus. Frostgale is drawn. Soulsteel in hand can't do anything unless he combines it with a Return to Nature, which I think we'll be seeing next turn. Can still play another Languid if he wants to. And he does play that 3rd Languid onto the Skirmisher. 3 Languids played in 1 turn. That's not what you want to happen as Tempo Order. wing shield in front of Roloris over here, with a new skirmisher on the field, unlanguided. Look at all these spells in hand of Football Eddie. Not a single unit, because he only runs 2 units. God Hand comes out. That's a dead Roloris, a dead Skirmisher. 0-0-0 for Football Eddie as far as resources go, because he spent exactly what he needed to. This Skirmisher has 2 languids on it. It's not going to do very much at all. Very soon. Vanguard comes down. Bronol doesn't want to give up. Now, this is a best of 3 in the winner's bracket, so should Bronol lose this, he's not out of the winner's bracket by any means. Another God Hand in hand for Football Eddie. Rat King... Well, there's no Necrogeddon. Here comes the God Hand. That's all he needs to do. Destroying 2 of the most important units, and saves the rest of his spells because he's in no hurry. Football Eddie isn't going anywhere. He's perfectly okay with the situation. There it is, Grounds of the Fallen. I think it's too late though, guys. Honestly, if he would have played this on round 3, this game would have been completely different. Frost Scales would have done nothing. Quakes would have just been 1 damage. And I think Bronol sacrificed it, not realizing... I mean, how could he have? Like, Football Eddie sacrificed for growth the first turn. So why would you... And then I think Bronol sacrificed Grounds of the Fallen the first turn because he saw growth. He's like, oh, okay, growth. I assume he's growth. And that wasn't the case at all. Here comes the Kinfolk Veteran to destroy the weakest skirmisher on Earth. Bronol has 6 resources, which is not the end of the world. Now, if you play Grounds of the Fallen now, I don't know. I think you wait. Yeah, get a unit out. Next turn, Skirmisher Grounds of the Fallen is a legit thing. However, I think we may be seeing... well, there's no other Samana Shift or Kinfolk Veteran in hand. So I don't think we'll see a mass damage spell. In fact, there may not be one at all now, because now Football Eddie has a large board, and why would he want to quake his board when he has the better board? So now Grounds of the Fallen is just not the time to play it. It's like early game or never with that scroll in this matchup. Well, it's early game or never, because if you don't win early game, you're not going to win. There's Halls of Oamlasa for Football, ramping up. He almost has as much decay as Bronol has order, and he has 4 wild for growth. There's Decimation, followed by a Haste to wipe 2 creatures and get 2 idle damage done from the Decimation. He could Grounds of the Fallen here. Maybe that was his plan. Like, oh, I like that a lot. He decimated, and also he made the right move. He decimated first, because otherwise the Veteran would have had the magic armor. What's very unfortunate is that Kinfolk Veteran benefits from Grounds of the Fallen, and he just drew the Kinfolk Veteran from the Halls of Oamlasa. To add insult to injury, he returned to Nature's the Ducal Skirmisher. Kinfolk Veteran says, thanks for the Grounds of the Fallen. And I remember I said earlier in this matchup, all I wanted to see was Grounds of the Fallen make a difference. Well, hey, my dreams came true. Well done. Football Eddie is up 1-0 over Bronol in this best of 3. In the semifinals, GG is called.